Hey, HR friends, welcome back. So we made it to day 6. We're in the 3-1 emotional 6.5 day sequence. Now, when we get to the end of these sequences, you know what's going to happen. There are going to be polarity moments that are going to build. Why is this important to talk about? Well, you can see why. So we had a couple days here where it's been at least a little calmer than it was after the solstice. The solstice was very strong because we had micro M frequencies and we had macro E frequencies that were flipping polarity together, and that's what created all of this elevation, both in the third and first person perspective. Now, by day 4 and 5, it started to lay down a little bit. We had a couple bumps we talked about in the last 24-hour period, but you can see, for example, in this 24-hour period on day 6, we're laying pretty flat here, at least in third person. In first person, however, though, you're going to want to pay attention this next 24-hour sequence, and especially when the last 12-hour sequence hits, there's a big jump here. Definitely going to have to worry about this in first person perspective. And you can see the combined up here as well. It reaches that 6 mark. So 4 is what we worry about. When it holds at 4, gets above it, you are going to see social tensions increase. You are going to see all kinds of events happening. Now, the other thing we see is the weather increasing. Why? Well, you see, in space-time math, when we overreact, what we're doing is we're actually creating the severity of the weather events. So when we get enough people seeing what the heck is going on here and we keep them calm and we keep them from falling victim to defensive design, you see, we're designed to either run away from our problems or we're designed to stand up and fight and make more stress for ourselves. Now, if we do either one of those things, what happens is the more people that do that, the more these weather events are going to amplify in certain areas. Now, I'm from the United States. We're broadcasting from the United States, and I can tell you our weather is becoming very concerning. We are hitting all kinds of record flooding events, all kinds of record heat events, and this has to do with our inability to stay calm, cool, and cooperative. That is why it is so important that we start to broadcast. The space-time math is you put something in and you get it right back. And if you're going to put in destructive energy, if you're going to put in energy that runs away from our problems or creates more problems, then what that does is it amplifies and it creates the problems that we're now experiencing in our environment. That's how that works. That's why we're so laser focused on trying to help people to stay calm. Okay. This is trying to trip you up. And when you cause stress, it's not just hurting our environment and our communities, it's hurting you. When you cause stress, what's happening is you're accelerating aging and you're guaranteeing that you're going to get some not pleasant disease as this continues to progress. All right, so let's get down here and let's just briefly talk about objective. Objective is simple, it's never going to change. We are all part of the same interconnected mathematical family. We are expected to treat everyone with equality. Period. And when we're talking to this interconnected family, we're supposed to be talking to them about how to balance these perspectives, but also how to balance our relationships. If any member of our family is struggling in relationship, we want to talk to that member. We want to help them work it out with the member they're having this problem with. And then once we have the problem solved, we want to come together with a common focus where we divide our time up equally and we make sure that we're investing in individual, family, national, and world routines at an equal place. Now, if we all do this, what's going to happen is we're going to create a well balanced world. Our environment is going to start to stabilize and things are going to get better for all of us. Now, it's not like people don't want to get along. Wouldn't it be nice if everything benefited everybody and we all work together to make things well? The only thing that's stopping that from happening is that we're not aware of what's happening in this unseen reality. And what this unseen reality is doing is it's agitating us from the inside out and it's manipulating our choices. You see, we think we're making conscious choice, but when we're doing all these predictions and we're predicting when a mass shooting is going to happen or we're predicting when the weather events are going to amplify, that would be the opposite. That is confirming that we are not making conscious choices. That means that we are being manipulated by this unseen magnetic field. It is literally organized chaos. Now, we are going to continue to post this information because we are trying to wake up as many people and as many participants as we can here to ensure that we start to do the objective and that we start as individuals to feel better. And the more individuals we get committed to feeling better, the more you're going to see our societies and our weather and everything else stabilize around us. Okay, that's how simple that is. All right, so let's move down. We're going to talk about this 24-hour section. This is the zoomed in 24, and you know why we zoom it in? because we want you to have access to see when these peaks are going to happen. You see, this is kind of jumbled together and it's kind of tight, and you can't really tell the timeline here. So we're trying to show you the whole 6.5 day sequence that's coming so you can kind of prepare as the day comes in. But this is showing you exactly where every little peak, every little up and down is going to happen. And all you got to do is just set your time zone, right? So for always, I'm going to come down here. We're going to find Eastern time zone. We got one more to go. So this is going to align the times for the Eastern time zone. And if you were in Eastern time, you'd snap a shot, and now you know exactly where these peaks are going to hit. Now, don't you forget, on our homepage, we have a live feed that's got a time bar that's set to universal time. You don't need this unless there's an issue with internet. If you don't have internet, then by all means use this function right here. Now, obviously, 4 is where we start to worry a little bit here. So the first 12 hours, it really doesn't pick up until the end of that first 12-hour sequence. But once we get in about 6, 7 hours, you need to be on your toes for the rest of the day. Now you can see there's some bump ups here in the third person. Really, where the agitation is happening is in first person agitation in this next 24-hour sequence. So definitely be on your toes here. Make sure you're not making it worse in your own general sphere of people. You definitely don't need to be aggravating your family or your coworkers. That's just going to make more stress for you, more stress for them. Everybody loses when that happens. All right. So next we're going to talk about alignments, and there are a couple strong alignments. So this is the first one we're going to talk about. It's a space alignment. This alignment is 3 hours long. It's going to test the lower quadrants of the body. So it's going to go to the right and left lower quadrants. The M, capital M frequency, that's a year. That's the strongest. The capital P is a 12-hour frequency, not so strong. Okay, so when this alignment's happening, much more likely you're going to feel it on the right lower quadrant, but you could really feel it on either side. But probable over here, much more probable because of the strength. All right, let's keep moving here. All right, so now let's talk about this alignment right here. This is the ME alignment. This is going to be a 1.5 hour, 1.5 hour alignment. The M is a 7.5 day frequency. The E is a 3.5 hour frequency. This is going to test lower right quadrant. Now, as always, if you have a hit, you want to document this because what it does is it shows us right out of the gate where one of your relational imbalances are. We can pop this into our technology on our website, and you can specifically see exactly what you need to start to work on, who you need to have better communication with, and figure out how to communicate in a way that alleviates stress and tension, that doesn't avoid it, and also helping these individuals that we're working out relationship conflict with to also understand the importance of a routine that's balanced so that we create a balanced, interconnected reality. Okay. Let's keep moving here. So the next one we're going to talk about is this ME right here. That's this guy right here. Capital M, that's a year frequency. Little e, that's a 3.5 hour frequency. Again, coming to this right lower quadrant. All right. So that's kind of a big thing here. We're going to watch this right lower quadrant. It's really getting tested today. Again, if you have a hit here, you'd want to document it. Now, this is strong, but it's pretty short. This one's going to be short-lived. This is the thing where you're walking through the store and all of a sudden your back gets real tight and you're like, "What's that?" And then before you get home, it's gone and you think it's no big deal. It's a big deal. We're in biofeedback. It's trying to tell you what's going on here. Okay. Now, I see we missed one down here. All right. Here it is. We need to talk about this one. This is the PE. It's a 0.75 alignment. It's a little bit on the weaker side, but the reason we're highlighting this one is because it's the yellow and green color. So the P frequency, that's 12 hours. E frequency, 3.5 hours. Much more likely you're going to feel it on the upper right quadrant. Now, these are balanced natural and world perspectives here, okay? And you can obviously see that our world and our nations are anything but balanced. So a lot of people are probably going to experience. Now, don't be surprised if this triggers a headache or sinus problems or visual changes during this 0.75 hour alignment. Again, it's kind of low, but if something happens, you document that time and you see this is a direct hit, it tells you right out of the gate, you need to start focusing more on this in your routine. All right, that's enough about the alignments. That's enough about the electromagnetics. Now we're going to talk about macro position and the testing sequence. Now, the macros are the 10 strongest frequencies in this 24-hour period, and they don't move really during this 24-hour period, except for the Ps, right? There's a P frequency for the first 12 hours, that's the P1, and then there's a P frequency for the second 12 hours, that's the P2. This is how they align over the quadrants of the body in this next 24 hours. You can see we've got 6 of them on the right, and we've got 4 of them on the left. So a little bit of an imbalance. And this right-sided imbalance is really getting tested here extra with all these alignments. So if I was in practice, I can tell you right now, I'm expecting right lower quadrant stuff that's going to be going down. No doubt about it. Now, it's also probable that you're going to possibly feel something here in the uppers as well. Why? Well, this is a 7.5 day frequency. This is a 6.5 day frequency. And there is an alignment that's going to be affecting this area as well. So sinus issues, visual issues, like I said, concentration issues. This is what's affecting people's memories. This is what's affecting all kinds of stuff in the head and face and upper extremities. And I promise you, the organs that sit up here, it'd be hard to say they're not important. You're talking about your heart, your lungs, your brain. Come on. This is important stuff. So we're just trying to let you know that it's possible that you're going to get some upper extremity stuff, and right lower is probably the most probable. Now, when we look at the testing sequences here, they're up and down, but for the most part, all of the areas are definitely getting tested. Maybe right upper quadrant in the first 12 hours is a little lighter. Otherwise, you would just want to watch and really document. Document, document, document. That's how we're going to help you the most in the beginning here. And then once we get your attention, we're going to show you how to not even worry about this, to know what's coming, prepare you so you don't have to worry about getting hurt. You see, if we're in balance with these frequencies that are testing us, instead of them damaging our body, instead of them aging our body, instead of them destroying our body, they would heal our body. We know how to heal. It's just, it takes a lot of effort. And that's not how we're designed. We're actually designed to be kind of lazy. That's what fight or flight is. Now, we're trying to help you understand how to use your conscious thought to put in the effort to go ahead and heal yourself. But there's a bigger reward that you really got to understand here. You see, if you balance your choices and you create a balanced routine and you don't react and you treat everybody like your family until the day you die, when your eyes shut the next time, you don't come back in a negative feedback loop. That's just how space-time math works. You see, we're in a negative feedback loop, and if you want out of it, well, then you've got to put in the conscious effort. And you'd say, well, what do I care? I care. I'm sick of suffering, aren't you? This is downright unpleasant what's happening in our world right now. And even for the people who think they're having a pleasant time, there's so much unpleasant weather going on and so much unpleasant things happening at the larger levels when we go out and organize in society. Unfortunately, it's not going the direction we'd like it to, and it's doing exactly what the math is manipulating us to do, which is to basically self-destruct. All right, enough about that. We know what that's all about now. Now, as always, we're going to do a quick review here for any new viewers, all right? So we've got electromagnetic guide for the entire summer season. In fact, I'm going to take you back here and we're going to go to what's coming next because we're getting close to the end of the sequence, and that's when the 3-2 is going to start. And you can see we're going to have some elevation up here in the 7 level, and third person tensions are going to rise again. So we're going to see some weather events, and we're going to see some larger social conflict events happening when this new sequence comes in, all right? This gives you the ability to look through the entire rest of this summer season, the entire rest of this fall season. That's enough. So for people who think they're going to travel or have plans, you'd want to know what the electromagnetics are, especially if you're going to gather in large groups of people. The larger the group of people, the more likely there's going to be conflict. That's how this works. Okay. We haven't changed this out. And it's not because I don't want to. We are preparing right now to publicly release, and I just haven't taken the time to do as many confirmation videos. There is plenty of confirmation happening around us, okay? There are all kinds of events, and we're going to get caught up on that, but you know how that works. All right, so here's the request form. If you want to see an analysis of a past event, pretty easy. You just fill this stuff in, and away we go. We'll try to get one posted for you so you can see it. All right, that's a pretty good one for today. And everybody, be sure, calm and steady because it's about to get rocky again. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to start this next transition off in anything but peace and calm because it's going to go on here. We're got about another 48 hours now, maybe even a little longer than that, and it's going to be tough. Okay, so let's make sure we're staying focused here, and we'll see you next time.